crafty friends, welcome back to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel. I'm Dawn Pauly from D Pauly Designs, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. I've got some really fun Hero Arts products to share, and if you love gift themed products, you're going to love this lineup. First up, I have the Hero Arts gift box die set. This one cuts out a bunch of different size presents, perfect for building little stacks of gifts or adding fun details to your card. Next up, we have the Wrap It Up letterpress and foil plate. You can use it for hot foiling those pretty bows on your presents or for letterpressing them. Either way, it looks gorgeous, and it even includes a coordinating sentiment. Then there's the color layering gorgeous gift wrap stencil set. This one is super fun. One stencil gives you the solid base color for your presents, and the other adds those cute patterns and decorations. Such a great way to add detail and color without overthinking it. We've also got the Just Because stamp and die set, and this one's all about thoughtful sentiments. I especially love the one that says, "Hope this adds a little extra happy to your birthday." It even comes with a little tag and die. I grabbed the coordinating dies too, of course. And last but not least, the Here for the Presents letterpress foil and cut set. This one's got some adorable Christmas sentiments. My favorite: when you stop believing in Santa Claus, you get socks. I mean, tell me that's not true. That is so funny. All right, let's get started and make something fun with all these awesome Hero Arts goodies. The first thing I'm going to do is hot foil my bows. You actually get this little template in the set to help line things up for letterpressing, but I'm not using that today. I'm just going to do some good old regular hot foiling on white cardstock. So first I place my plates onto the hot foil machine and let them heat up. I like to do the bows first because it's way easier to line up the stencils afterwards and get everything centered perfectly, rather than trying to line the bows up on top already stenciled boxes. You'll see exactly what I mean when we get to that part. Next, I lay my gold foiled pretty side down on top of the plate, and then I add my cardstock. I let it sit for a few seconds while I grab my Platinum 6 machine, and then I layered the plastic shim and cutting plate on top, and then remove it from the glimmer machine and run it through my die cutting machine. After that, I just pop the plate back into the glimmer machine so that it stays nice and hot for the next run. Once the foil piece cools for a few seconds, I gently peel back the foil, and just look at how beautiful those bows turned out. Now, I went ahead and hot foiled the Here for the Present sentiments just to show you how they look, but I decided not to use them today because I ended up going with a birthday card instead. Okay, up next, let's do some stenciling. I'm using the Color Layering Gorgeous Gift Wrap stencil to color in the presents. I've got my Altenew sticky mat to hold everything in place while I ink blend. It does such a good job of keeping the paper steady, and for a little extra security, I am also taping the stencil down. For this card, I'm going rainbow colors all the way. Now, I'm not going to make you sit through stenciling every single present since they're all done the same way. I started with yellow and moved on to orange, and now I'm going to be blending in that pretty red color. I'll have all the colors listed in the description box below for you. And to keep things neat, I'm using sticky notes to mask off the other presents while I work. Even though I'm using a small ink blending brushes, once I get into a rhythm, I can kind of get a little careless, and I don't always notice when I go over the lines until it's too late. So for me, it's just easier to mask things off. Sticky notes are my go-to because they're way more cost effective than using my good masking paper. I save that for when I need to cover full images or die cut shapes. Now that I've got all my solid ink blending done, I'm going to move on to the decorative layer of the stencil. I'm using the Pinkfresh Studio inks, which makes it super easy to pick out coordinating colors. I start with the lightest shade for the base, and then I use the next darkest color in the same ink set for the decorations. It works out perfectly, just one shade darker, so the patterns stand out but they don't overpower the presents. Here's a little tip to make sure your decorative stencils line up perfectly. I left my first stencil, the one I used for the solid colors that I had taped down on the cardstock, and I just layered the decorative stencil right on top of it. That helped everything stay aligned, and I didn't go outside the lines at all, which can definitely happen if your stencil shifts at all. Overall, the stenciling was super easy and it didn't take a long time at all. Now I'm just peeling off the sticky notes and stencils, and look at how beautiful this turned out. Now, you could totally stop here if you wanted to. The solid colors look great on their own, but adding those pattern really makes everything pop. Now I'm using the gift boxes die set to cut everything out. I like to tape the dies in place so they don't shift while I'm running them through the machine. And just look at all these cute little packages you get after die cutting them. I absolutely love them. They're so fun and full of possibilities. Next, I'm going to stamp out my sentiments using the Just Because stamp set. I'm stamping the tag and a couple of different sentiments because I'm not quite sure which one I'll use yet. Since I'm heat embossing, I start by rubbing my paper with my embossing powder bag to remove any static. Then I stamp the images with Versamark ink and I sprinkle some gold embossing powder on it. And once my heat tool is nice and hot, I melt the powder until it's shiny. Then I use the coordinating dies to cut them out. And I went ahead and die cut two more sentiments from white cardstock, and then I stacked them on top of each other to give the sentiment some stability and dimension. Okay, now for the fun part, let's start assembling the card. I started by die cutting a white rectangle panel slightly smaller than an A2 size card base. Now I'm arranging my presents, and honestly, this was the hardest part of the whole project. It's an easy card to make, but I had such a tough time deciding exactly how I wanted to arrange all these presents on the card front. I finally landed on this layout here, and I love how it turned out. I added foam tape behind a few of the presents for some dimension, adhered the blue and purple ones flat to the card base, and then placed my sentiment in the top right hand corner of the card. Next, I added a piece of craft foam behind the entire card front panel for even more stability, and then I adhered that to an A2 sized white card base. To finish it off, I added my favorite embellishments, the Spellbinders Fashion Oyster Pearls. You all know I reach for these constantly. I used my craft knife to pick them up so that I could place them exactly where I want them. And that's it. I absolutely love how this card turned out. It's such a versatile design. You can change up the colors to match any holiday or theme. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Scrapbook Pal YouTube channel. I would love for you to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of the card. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the Scrapbook Pal channel and follow them on their social media so you don't miss any of the amazing inspiration that they share. And don't forget to check out their website for the latest new releases. As always, thank you for spending a little time crafting with me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.